From my very earliest recollections of Mary Magdalene, she was indelibly labeled as the infamous prostitute delivered of 7 devils. However, as I began studying the gospel accounts, I found that neither Matthew nor John mention anything about her having demons or being demoralized and tarnished. They focus instead on her undying loyalty to the Savior. Mary of Magdala uniquely stands apart as one who was present at the foot of the cross. At the burial of Jesus, she was there sitting opposite the tomb and was the first to witness the resurrection. Mary was also commissioned by Jesus to tell the other disciples about the resurrection. For centuries, we've heard dozens of varying stories and interpretations of Mary Magdalene, who became one of the leading female figures in Bible history. Among the women mentioned in the Bible, Mary Magdalene has been one of the most misunderstood and controversial of all. It's easy to see how some Bible historians could get confused. There were many Marys at that time, which was a very popular name. The life of this Galilean woman of Magdala is without a doubt shrouded in mystery. Very little is written about Mary of Magdala. In all 4 of the Gospel accounts, Mary is mentioned with several Galilean women who followed Jesus and ministered to him when he was in Galilee and came up with him when he was in Jerusalem. And the very first time Mary heard Jesus speak, she was so deeply moved that she sought to hear more of his life-giving words of truth that were different from anything she had ever heard before. After her conversion, Mary's devotion to Jesus was so great that she dedicated her entire life to serving him. She was among those who followed Jesus as he carried the cross to Calvary. As they approached Golgotha, there were few who stood close by at the foot of the cross. Only those closest to Jesus remained. Mary, the Lord's mother, John the Beloved, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. Heartbroken and devastated, she remained until the moment Christ breathed his last breath with the words, "It is finished." In the dead silence, watching, wondering, and weeping, nothing could describe the deep sadness. Mary had witnessed the brutality of the cross and the horrors of Christ's suffering, while most of the disciples had fled from the scene and hid in secret. She could not walk away. She was compelled to stay by her Lord and Savior. The devotion in her heart could not be abdicated by danger or even threat of death. Very early on the first day of the week, while it was still dark, Mary Magdalene was the first person who came to the tomb and saw that the stone had been rolled away. Breathlessly, she ran at once to Simon Peter and John, trying to explain that they had taken the Master from the tomb and she didn't know where they put him. The disciples then went back home, but Mary stood outside the tomb weeping, and as she wept, she knelt to look inside the tomb and saw 2 angels sitting there, dressed in white, one at the head and the other at the foot of where Jesus' body had been laid. They said to her, "Woman, why do you weep?" She responded, "They took my Master, and I don't know where they put him." After she said this, she turned away and saw Jesus standing there, but she didn't recognize him. Jesus spoke to her, "Woman, why do you weep? Who are you looking for?" She, thinking he was the gardener, said, "Mister, if you took him, tell me where you put him so I can care for him." Jesus said, "Mary." Turning to face him, she said in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means master. He then commanded her, "Do not touch me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Go to my brothers and tell them, I ascend to my Father and your Father, my God and your God.
Excuse me, sir, but I was passing by when the words you sang just made me cry. How did you